Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined today by Brian Leonard and Dave Koken. We're going to talk about one of my favorite games this weekend in the NFL. Minnesota at Chicago. Lions now 2.5 in favor of the Bears. Total 45. Dave, I'll start with you. Bears in the NFC, first place in the NFC North right now, just hanging tight. You have Khalil Mack, this big pass rush. Everybody seems to think it's going to give Kirk Cousins problems. My only concern here is that I think the Vikings might be the trendy dog this week, and it kind of is one of those kiss of death things. Early money did come in on the Vikings.
You know, it's a fascinating game because this is the true proving ground game for the Bears. They're 6-3. You could argue they maybe ought to be 8-1, but they're not. But this is the game where they've got the pressure on them to prove that they're legitimate contenders. The Vikings have already proven that. They were a big team last year. I think that situation might favor the Vikings a little bit. My numbers favor the Bears to cover the spread. I think the situation points to Minnesota, so I'm kind of, at a loss for words on this one.
Brian, this is kind of one of those situations where if the Vikings can go in and they can beat the Bears, then they beat the Packers. They're now in first place in the NFC North here. How do you handicap this game?
Yeah, as soon as this line came out, I bet the Vikings at the +3 minus 110. I couldn't understand it because the Vikings are coming off of a bye. And normally when we come off a bye, I've been told it's worth like 2.4 points, but I usually add about 2 points to the team off the bye. And that should have been catching 3 points.
But the Bears are kind of off a bye.
Well, they're coming off 3 byes. They just played
the Bills.
The Lions, the Bills, and the Jets.
I mean, you play
so
those
they've got
three
a major
teams.
step up here.
Oof.
But, you got the team coming off the bye in the Vikings. They're playing the team above them in the standings. And that's worked a couple times so far this year when I've done something like that. The Vikings were a team coming into the season we really thought had a really good defense. And they were terrible early. But if you go back to the last 4 games, they've held 3 of the last 4 opponents to 40% success rate or less. So the defense is starting to come up to play what
they are, and they're starting to be healthier too, especially with Everson Griffin back. Kind of with that whole ordeal was a little bit of a distraction. And I think you're right. I think this defense is healthier and playing better.
You think a key here is that the Bears, and it is a big game for them, as opposed to the other big games they played this year, now they're the favorite. That matters.
They are favored, and they're not going to have a look ahead past this, but they do play Thanksgiving Day against the Lions again.
I don't think they care about that.
Yeah, they got a short week coming up. But this is a game that Minnesota went into the break. They won the last game before going in. But it's not like some other teams that are on a big, long losing streak and they might not pay attention on the break. But this is their season. The next 2 weeks is their season. As you mentioned, Green Bay on deck. I expect Minnesota to come out, and I expect Minnesota to win both these games.
Great. I'm glad you guys are in agreement with me. $9 Monday at WagerTalk and all daily packages for Monday's action, plus early college football and NFL priced at only $9. This includes any 5% best bets, normally priced at $30.